Okay, what's this? Who is Miss Rachel? Amplifier of Hamas propaganda. Well, we all know that Stop Anti-Semitism couldn't give less of a shit about fucking anti-Semitism, right? Like, we all know this, right? We know. I don't even, like, who's Miss Rachel? Who is this individual? She's a content creator, I assume. Apparently she makes nursery rhymes. Who is this? Elmo. Children via surrogacy. Wow, she has a lot of subscribers. Jesus Christ. She is quite big. I mean, here's the thing with, like, children's content on YouTube. That shit always, like, just goes fucking crazy in, like, the algorithm. Here's an article about it. What can we learn real quick? YouTuber, social media personality, singer, songwriter, and educator. She is best known for creating the YouTube series Songs for Littles, a children's music series focused on language development for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. Ah, so is she like a language teacher or something? That's nice. I think that's cool. Theater kid, master's degree in music education. Okay, makes sense. Worked as a music teacher. And as of 2023, she's pursuing a second master's degree in early childhood education. Makes a lot of sense. She, has a YouTube channel that, well, helps teach language to children. Makes sense. Announced a fundraising campaign to make videos on Cameo. Okay, so is this okay? So she is doing. She did a charity for Save the Children, which does work all across the world to help children. Makes sense. She was bullied online in relation to her fundraising for the children of Gaza, saying she deeply cared for all children. How very altruistic of her. Very true. Disabled comments as a result. I can only assume all the stupid schizo Zionists probably just like crawled into her comments saying like, no, fuck those children. They have to be turned into mulch by the glorious IDF. Yeah. Often posted on Instagram about the conditions suffered by children in Gaza during the most recent Gaza war. Yeah, that'll fucking get all these like schizophrenic morons on you very, very quickly. And it's called for humanitarian aid, very based. On April 7th, 2025, Stop Anti-Semitism, a Nazi conglomerate, because these guys do not give a shit about anti-Semitism. They could care less about that. But whatever. Asked the United States Department of Justice to investigate whether a Crusoe is being funded by a foreign party to push anti-Israel propaganda. It's amazing how all the most stupid like schizo fascists constantly push all the time for Israel. I wonder why. It makes you think. Why do all these like stupid dipshit fascists? Why are they such big fans of Israel? I thought they were supposed to hate Israel because they're Jewish. It's a little weird. Makes you think, doesn't it? Stop Anti-Semitism is calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate if Miss Rachel is being funded by a foreign party to push anti-Israel propaganda to skew public opinion. As far as I can tell, all she's done is say, like, hey, maybe we should send humanitarian aid to children. That includes children in the Gaza Strip, because guess who Israel's mostly bombing? Children. They're mostly bombing children. Oh, whoa, crazy. She thinks that children shouldn't be bombed anymore by the stupid, like, genocidal fascists that you're defending. But okay. Since 10/7, Miss Rachel has transformed into an amplifier of Hamas propaganda. Of course, yes. Praying for children means it's all Hamas propaganda, of course. Broadcasting to 20 plus million followers across her platforms. She's promoted a starving child from Gaza Photo, which was actually a cystic fibrosis case. Let me guess, you got that probably from Israel. Israel is very well known for telling the truth about a lot of stuff, especially when they're currently trying to commit genocide. But, well, you know. Hamas's false stat of 14,000 plus kids killed. 72% of deaths are combat-aged men. What do I mean by combat-aged men? Men 18 plus? Men who are just holding a rifle? What do they mean by that? Because I don't agree. Like, I don't believe that. Statistically speaking, there is no way that 72% of the deaths in the Gaza Strip are combat-aged men. That's impossible. I don't believe this when, over 50% of the population in the Gaza Strip are children. Because guess what? What the fuck is there else to do in the fucking Gaza Strip? There's nothing really much else to do. So guess what? Because of how freakishly fucking genocidal the Israelis are, Palestinians have to take a fucking mentality of like, well, we need to have as many fucking kids as possible so maybe one of them can make it out of this fucking hellhole and have a successful family. Which is fucking wretched. But, you know, it's no, actually, wait, hold on. It's all about, like, all the combat-aged men. Who are the main people who got killed. Like, we know, like, demographics of the Gaza Strip. Like, what is it? 43.5% being children 14 or younger. Okay. I want exactly, what's up, Zane? 2010, approximately 1.6 million people lived in the Gaza Strip. Almost 1 million of them were UN-registered refugees. The majority descended from refugees who were driven or left their homes because of the first Arab-Israeli war, when the Nakba then happened. What I want is the percentage of children. What was it? 43.5%. Here we go. In a ranking by total fertility rate, Gaza is 34th. This leads to the Gaza Strip having an unusually high proportion of children in the population, with 43.5% of the population being 14 or younger, and a median age in 2014 of 18. That is fucking crazy. What this tells you should be fairly fucking obvious. Most of the people that are within the Gaza Strip are either children or people who have barely made it to being a young adult. Not a lot of 30-year-old, like 40-plus-year-olds within Gaza, generally speaking. Like, the only countries with a lower median age are countries in Africa, such as Uganda, where it was 15. Nice. Nice meme. So, you know. Statistically speaking, there is no fucking way that this can be 100% true. There's no fucking way. Let's be honest here. And we already know the reporting has been done everywhere. Most of the people who have died in Gaza because of the current Israeli-Palestinian war, if you can call it that, have been women and children. We know this. So then why lie? Because these guys don't give a shit about protecting anti-Semitism. Like, why not be honest about the ages of these people? What does combat-aged men mean? 18? We're talking about kids who are like 14 or younger here. What does this mean? Let's see, what else did Miss Rachel do, apparently, to spread anti-Semitism? Fake cold deaths in Gaza. Photos circulating at this time online were of frostbite taken from Wikipedia while the temperatures were warm. Sure, man. Claims Israel is indiscriminately bombing kids despite Israel taking extensive measures to minimize civilian casualties. Yeah, because all the like little propaganda fucking leaflets that Benjamin Netanyahu said, like, hey, we've been telling people to fucking leave. What do you mean? We told them to fucking leave. And also, we know, like, Israel has bombed refugee camps. What, are there Hamas commanders in refugee camps? Are there? Is it all? Is it all like, is it all of that shit? Is it all just like that? They've bombed refugee camps. Most of the people that are going to be in there are refugees. A lot of them being kids because their fucking homes got bombed. They've done multiple bombings on Jabalia. That's like one of the places. Where else besides Jabalia? Jabalia again. Al Fakora School, which is a UN-run school. So they've bombed UN sites. Okay, very cool. Abu Hussein School. So another school. Okay. Was it all Hamas? All Hamas? Jabalia again got bombed. Al-Shati. Multiple different mosques. Al-Brej. Al-Maghazi, which is another school run by UNRWA. So another UN school got bombed. Let's see, where is Al-Maghazi, which I think is another refugee camp, right? So, like, hold on. Why are they bombing all these refugee camps? Like, we could keep going through this list. There's a lot. There is a lot of refugee camps that they have constantly fucking bombed over and over and over again. Am I supposed to assume that, like, every time they've bombed a refugee camp, knowing that there's children there, because I assume Israel probably knew that there was children there, am I supposed to just, like, acknowledge that they did this sort of, like, to go after terrorists or something? I don't believe the IDF even for a fucking second. Get the fuck out of here. Accusations of Israel blocking aid is a violation of the Geneva Convention, despite 1.7 million tons delivered. Israelis blocking food trucks, because guess what? They did. There's a bunch of protesters who blocked a bunch of aid convoys to Gaza. Then why are there a bunch of Israelis blocking those convoys? That's a little weird. They did it in Gaza. They did it in the West Bank. That's a little strange. Like, if you're gonna try to fucking, like, lie, just be more convincing about it. Not to mention, who else did they bomb? Israel bombing food workers. They've bombed food workers. Human Rights Watch. Israel attacking known aid worker locations. I don't remember. It's a World Central Kitchen. That's what I was looking for. There was a World Central Kitchen convoy going along the approved route by the IDF that suffered multiple drone attacks. They just got bombed anyway, so fuck it, whatever. And that's it. Like, and then they stopped operating because they're just like, dude, we can't, like, send people in here because they're going to be in danger by Israel. So, like, really? You're going to get mad at some fucking YouTuber for accusing accusing Israel of doing bombings on aid workers when this is something that has been recorded and we know about. Wasn't it recently that they just bombed humanitarian workers from the UN? Like, this literally just fucking happened. Aid workers among dozens killed in Israeli attacks. This was reported in March 19th. Aid workers killed. This was in the 5th report in the 15th. I'm pretty sure there's like also a Democracy Now! Segment saying like, yeah, we like literally found a mass grave dug of people. So that's cool. Here's one exactly what I was just talking about. On April 1st. This is from the UN. So like what, are they lying? Stop anti-Semitism, you fucking freaks. UN humanitarians and partners on Tuesday expressed deep shock at the killing of 15 colleagues on duty in southern Gaza by Israeli forces, whose remains were recovered on Sunday from a shallow grave after a week-long rescue operation, noting that one worker is still missing. And there's footage, by the way, of them getting shot. According to UNRWA, 408 aid workers, including more than 280 UNRWA staff, have been killed in Gaza since the war began on October 7th. Now, some of these could have been by Hamas. Maybe. Is there any evidence of this? Of me just sort of like saying this into the ether? No, because why the fuck would they do that? Hamas is a lot of things, but they're not that stupid. Why would they kill random aid workers? No, the only people who have done this have been the fucking Israelis. They have been the ones, the Israeli Defense Force, they have been the ones who have been constantly killing aid workers. Like, quite literally, there was like, was this in like Syria? It was either in Syria or Lebanon. There was a station where, and it was very clearly demarcated by UN flags, that the Israeli Defense Force besieged and attacked and killed people. And these were people from the UN. They were eventually forced to have to surrender. But okay. It sure is ridiculous to say like, oh man, yeah, a school teacher here is being incredibly anti-Semitic. And, you know, we're talking about shit from the New York Post, a fucking rag. What, all she did was what? Pray for, like, whatever the fuck? That's it? YouTube star Miss Rachel should be investigated for spreading Hamas propaganda over posts about Gaza kids? Wonder why you're saying Gaza kids. Not Palestinian children, who the Israelis are just bombing the shit out of. But okay. Bro, why are you framing her as the top toddler whisperer? That's so fucking weird. Modern equivalent. Yeah, a Jewish civil rights watchdog group. And stop anti-Semitism. They're really good at that, sure. What are the posts? This is a prayer for children in Gaza. Stop hurting them. Sure, seems pretty reasonable. They want to do a fucking FAR request on her. I mean, they're probably going to follow through with this because, again, like, the current administration is not fucking serious at all. Just a complete, like, schizo rag. Among the objectionable content, according to the group, are viral images of a child with protruding limbs depicting starvation in the enclave. Stop Anti-Semitism claimed those images were debunked, with the child not suffering starvation, but instead suffering from cystic fibrosis. Are there any posts at all? Because we know people are starving. We know that aid has been blocked. Period. End of story. That's not hyperbolic. This has been confirmed by all the reporting. You know, all of the bombing on, say, for example, aid workers that have been constantly happening. World Central Kitchen. We know this has been blocked. There's been footage of far-right Israeli agitators going and blocking aid trucks and destroying aid. They have done this. But that's cool. Fadi Al-Zant, the child in question, however, was suffering from both cystic fibrosis and starvation. Wait, doesn't that directly contradict exactly what Stop Anti-Semitism said? You just said that Fadi is suffering from starvation. But you're trying to... But Stop Anti-Semitism is saying that, oh no, it's not the starvation. It's just the cystic fibrosis. Okay, immediate contradiction. His mother told the Washington Post he became a widely shared symbol, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Sharing the death toll provided by the Hamas-run Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health has often had its numbers completely corroborated and agreed to by the UN. There is no reason to doubt the Gaza Ministry of Health. Now, sure, I initially had those doubts because I'm just like, wouldn't it be under like sort of Hamas's control? But no, from what I understand now, it is a completely separately run entity and has nothing to do with the sort of politics of Hamas. So, nonsense. And there's a reason why the UN tends to use their numbers. They tend to be very, very accurate. But okay, yeah, sure. Like what else? She just prayed for kids. That's it. And said some stuff like, yeah, I think this is bad. She just wants children not to be hurt. But okay, sure, man. We're gonna do just like complete schizophrenic nonsense. There's a real picture / caption combo in the New York Post article. Yup, very stupid. Man, stop hurting kids, man. Good to see that New York Post does just want to... They don't care about children. Conservatives hate children. They just want to kill them. They don't give a shit if they can't use them as, like, their little ciphers. Let's see. Taylor Lorenz. The framing from legacy media on the Miss Racial stuff is insane. Nowhere do they say that these are baseless claims or that what she said, every child's life is precious and worthy, is not Hamas propaganda. Now, I would... Listen, this may be controversial. This may be a little silly for me. I may be doing a little bit of trolling. But, you know, personally, I think that children shouldn't be killed. Controversial to say in 2025. I know this may seem a little ridiculous, but you know, I think that children should not be turned into mulch. My personal opinion. I know I might be a little bit ridiculous, but you know. Okie dokie, I have a lot of truck opinions. I have cartism. Based. I don't. If you didn't know the background of the story and saw this post, you'd believe the smear. But what if the children don't look like me? Oh yeah, that's an excellent point, sucking dudes. That name is always going to make me laugh. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if they're like a little, you know, like, listen, we're going to get the pigment sheets out, you know. We're going to do like the Family Guy meme. It's like, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. But this is the color that they have. That's not okay. Mulch. Kill him. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so far they're just saying like, oh, she's spreading pro-Hamas propaganda. All she did was say, hey man, I think bombing children is bad, and I'm gonna do some humanitarian aid. Donate have some like do some like donation like funds or drives. Fundraiser drives. That's the term I'm looking for. In order to raise some money for helping children around the world. That's it. That's all shit. That's all that she did. That's her crime, apparently. But okay, sure. I don't trust white women in overalls over 40. She's sus. Is she 40? What's her age? She's 42. She looks 40. Huh? Yeah, true, Zane. Yeah, like, I mean, that's like the argument that Israel has done before. Like, oh man, all these children are gonna be evil Jew killers. If you keep bombing the fuck out of them, guess what's gonna fucking happen? They're gonna turn into evil Jew killers. That's what's gonna happen. Like, if you keep bombing the fuck out of them, crazy. Just to be clear, the story itself debunks these claims. But here's what anyone without a subscription, aka most who will see this headline and social framing, see when they click the link. Dude, there's so much to fucking say about like these fucking dumbass like publications that have the subscription nonsense. It's like, okay, I would like to read more because man, my kid watches this person. Is she spreading Hamas propaganda? And then they get like the subscription stuff. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to do that. A lot of right-wing rags don't tend to do the exact same, right? They don't. Because they want people, as many people as possible, to listen to the misinformation as possible. Yeah, I do find it very funny that the New York Times' headline is "Democracy Dies in Darkness" and has a fucking subscription paywall. It's very, very ironic. Washington Post. Whatever. One of the liberal outlets. Yeah, same bullshit. Same difference. Doesn't matter. Fucking, I have no doubt that the New York Times has also a slogan that's as equally pretentious. Stupid. Very, very silly. A responsible headline would be Miss Rachel falsely accused of being a Hamas propagandist, which is true. She's not a Hamas propagandist. We've already checked what she said. We have an idea about what she did. What she raised funds on her videos that are going to Save the Children, which is a non-profit organization that, well, helps children all over the world. So, you know. And then we have, obviously, these schizophrenics at Stop Anti-Semitism saying, like, clearly she's a Jew hater. But yeah, sure. Okay, man. That's true. Real and true sucking dudes. Yeah, Miss Rachel must have also done gay pride propaganda, making the kids gay. Nah, feeding brown children? How could she? Crazy. Stop Anti-Semitism is a funny outlet if you read it as satire. The funniest thing about these dudes is I don't think they're being satirical. I think they're just incredibly buffoonish and clownish. And these guys will spread like anti-Semitic like claims and conspiracies all the time, all for the defense of, you know, the Jews. But like, it's like the ADL, right? They try to like do the same shit as the ADL, but it's just like cartoonish and stupid. It's complete nonsense. This is a huge problem across media where controversy is created with headlines and social copy that feed the very narratives the journalists themselves is debunking in the article. Oh, this was a wait. Were they wow, that actually just makes things worse, right? If I was reading this correctly, they're not trying to debunk what Stop Anti-Semitism is saying. Apparently, they do end up debunking themselves. You know, hilarious. It's just cartoonish. It's so stupid. The ADL is also cartoonish. Dude came out and said Elon wasn't hitting the Nazi salute. But the next day, Elon made Holocaust jokes, and he walked back at his defense of Elon. Jonathan Greenblatt is a fucking moron. Like, not stop anti-Semitism. The ADL used to do, like, pretty fucking decent work in terms of, like, the debunking of, like, the Pepe meme. They used to have, like, good shit on that, right? They did good work. But now it's been, like, subsumed by probably, like, AIPAC and all these other stupid, like, Zionist orgs saying, like, doing just complete bunk. Yeah, there's probably stuff you can find that the ADL does, which is just like, okay, I mean, yeah, they're not wrong on this, but it gets exactly like the dumb shit that they do is so over the top fucking stupid that it just completely undercuts anything the good that they do. So it's just like, people are just gonna remember them for the dumb shit that they do. So what was I doing? Like, them debunking themselves, right? There's a huge problem across media where controversy is created with headlines and social copy that feed the very narratives the journalists themselves is debunking in the article. So the journalist ended up fucking debunking the claim. Okay, so I was reading this correctly. So the journalists themselves was debunking the claim, but they did such a shit job at the article. You click in, you only see the article fucking title, and you're just like, oh, well, she must be spreading pro-Hamas propaganda. If this was, yeah, why not just say that you're debunking it, saying that she's been accused of spreading Hamas propaganda, or smeared as spreading Hamas propaganda? That's so fucking strange. And people can't read? Unfortunately, no, but it doesn't help. Like, yeah, you have a headline like this: Miss Rachel accused of spreading pro-Hamas propaganda. You go in, you look further, you get the subscription cuck feed, and it's just like, oh, okay, maybe she was spreading this Hamas propaganda. I don't want to read this shit. Fuck that. I don't want to pay money for a subscription. Guys, it's almost as if there's a problem with the further commodification of media. I'm just saying, the amount of commodification, crazy. Half of U.S. adults read at a 6th grade reading level or lower. 20% are functionally illiterate. You can blame for that one. Reagan and Bush Jr. They're the fucking reasons why that's happened. So, all of the cuts and defunding to education they've done. Ridiculous. These headlines are then screenshotted and used as evidence in bad actors' social media videos, etc. Zero hate to the journalist who wrote this story, by the way. I didn't know who wrote it when I shared it, because like most people who will encounter this story in the wild, I don't have a New York Mag login. That's the problem, right? Many outlets are doing this, though. None of these headlines center the fact that these claims are baseless, which is true. Again, what did she do? She just said, like, hey, I hope that children don't get killed anymore. That's it. I think it's more complicated than funding, but yeah, those cuts were bad. Yeah. I mean, like, what's the problem with education in North America? Well, specifically the U.S., they're funded by property taxes. So guess what? If you live in a poorer area because of redlining and gentrification, stuff like that, you don't get as much money from property taxes. Guess what? School doesn't have as much funding as a result. That public school. How to keep a permanent underclass of racial minorities at all times through, hey, the law. But sure, man. We just need to stop educating the poor, you're right. That's real, so real. But yeah, YouTuber Miss Rachel spreads Hamas propaganda to kids. Watchdog tells AG Pam Bondi. Yeah, stop anti-Semitism. One of the greatest watchdogs. This is the one from the New York Post. Complete rag. But that's cool. Journalists don't get to pick their headlines. That's the other thing I hate about this. That is also true. Who knows what this journalist intended to have as their headline? Maybe they did have saying, hey, she's being falsely accused of being a Hamas propagandist. And then the editor comes back, or whatever, like, person on top of the journalist comes back saying, like, nah, change the title to this. Everything else in it is fine. Change it to this. And so, shit like this just fucking happens. But better to be fucking dishonest. It lets some faceless pencil pusher hide the corporate bigotry behind a journalist doing necessary work. That's pretty true. Yep, journalists don't pick the headlines or social copy for their stories. So no hate to the writer, obviously, but my point was just that I think the way these things get shared, / interpreted across Facebook, etc., and what people skim ends up affecting how the stories are perceived. Can't really disagree to that. Like, the good intentions of a journalist being, destroyed because some dumbass fucking editor is more focused on trying to, like, make money for whatever, like, outlet they're working for. That's cool. I graduated from a rural school in the mid-aughts, and we still had the USSR in our history class freshman year. They replaced them all the following year, but goddamn, yeah, schooling is heavily underfunded within America. But yeah, obviously, like, is Miss Rachel a Hamas propagandist? No. It's fairly obvious that Israel does not care about collateral damage. They just want to kill people because they hate you, and that's the whole point. The IDF, terrorist organization. Hamas, also a terrorist organization. They became a terrorist organization because of the IDF. But, well, nice fucking meme, dude. Nice meme. But we're gonna accuse some, a child educator who basically said, like, honestly, I think that we should not bomb children, of being an anti-Semite because of, like, the ramblings of a bunch of schizo fucking Zionists. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit.